Now the water flow was becoming more alarming. Dave Adamson was confident that he knew where to wait out the flash flood from the storm. These experienced cavers began their push, with all haste in mind. Jeff and Michael began struggling with the flood of water they were facing in the tight passage. It rose above their hands and then their shoulders. They tried to find the highest crack in the passage to lift their faces as the water rushed into the tunnel.
Oh my goodness.
Michael would have asked Jeff what to do, where to go. The amount of water flooding into the narrow passage was only increasing with no safe place to escape. The haunting truth was that there was nothing that they could do.
And that is the worst way to go out, knowing like you ain't got no chance. What? Can you stop looking at me? Stop! You! Every time I do this, every time I turn on the camera, you're staring dead at my face. Back up! You! Okay. Alright. You're gonna just sit here and stare at me, huh? Now when I spit in your Kool-Aid, I'm gonna be wrong.
What? Oh my God. What you say? What the fuck?
That's what I thought. Drowned in a narrow tunnel? Mossdale Cave tragedy? I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I don't care no more. What? No, I can't have sympathy for somebody that said, it's a beautiful day today. I want to go cave exploring. Bro, what? Like, that's just dumb to me. I don't get the joy, the excitement, the rush from going into caves in tight, narrow areas where people have been known to get stuck and die. And you say, oh, I want to do that too. That's almost as bad as watching a heroin junkie take 3 needles and say, time for the rush. And you look at him with a straight face, grab 3 needles and say, I want to go there too. What's wrong with you? So I mean, I know I'm all over the place, but this is what cave exploring does to me. When people do stupid stuff, I just gotta say stupid things. So, without further ado, let's go.
When 6 men entered a tight cave system to help out with some important mapping work, they thought they would be in for an adventurous day in the deep tunnels of Mossdale Caves.
Wow. Did he say mapping work? I'm not gonna lie, my bad. I was talking crazy about them like they was doing this for fun. They trying to get their paper up. They getting their pockets thick. They getting their wallet strong. I thought they was doing it for fun. Sorry.
The reality of what they would face is absolutely stunning. This is the fatal breakdown of the Mossdale caving tragedy.
This is sad.
In June of 1967, 10 explorers entered the Mossdale Cave system to explore and help clear some of the deeper passages for further mapping. These passages were not well documented by caving standards, but the 2 leaders of the group felt confident in their ability to navigate the group carefully. 26-year-old leader Dave Adamson and his friend Jeff Boireau had explored Mossdale many times before. This cave system was not much of a touring cave. There were very few areas where a person could fully stand. It was mostly grueling crawls or squeezing through wet spaces filled with rocks and mud. That's why after a few hours, 4 of the group members, 2 men and 2 women, turned back as planned. Dave Adamson's fiancée was one of these casual cavers. Morag Forbes was thrilled to be getting married to Dave in less than a month. These adventurers, who only planned a light day of exploring, exited the cave around 5 o'clock. The skies were overcast, but nothing clearly threatening.
4 hours
Dave
to
and Jeff
flood?
continued deep underground with their 4 caving friends, assisting with equipment and tools. Colin Vickers, John Ogden, and Bill Frakes were top cavers. At just 17 years old, Michael Ryan was the youngest member.
He's 17 and he did this? He didn't even make it out of high school yet, and they got him going through caves? I'm not gonna lie. Whoever signed me up for that, when we get up to heaven, you gotta run me my 30 seconds. I gotta get my one-on-ones in. It ain't no way, as my father, you let me go in a cave after I said I want to go in the cave. I was expecting you to say no. I wasn't expecting you to say, hey, let's go for it, son. Now we both did. Come up and run these one-on-ones. God is my witness. I'm finna beat you down.
Oh!
I don't know, man. This stuff is stad. What? Stad?
Oh!
This stuff is sad, and it just make my chest hurt. I can't breathe.
At this point in the day, the men were starting their crawl through the Far Marathon Passage. This claustrophobic tunnel is the length of 3 football fields.
Dang!
Over 900 feet of narrow rock with a light stream of water along the bottom.
Oh my God.
Far Marathon Passage must be maneuvered in a single direction because it's only 18 inches by 12 inches. Barely enough room for an average-sized person to pull themselves along. Imagine crawling in a space not much bigger than your computer screen. Shoulders pinned forward without room to spread your arms or reach back to your waist or legs. Turning around is not an option. Once you squeeze in, you are committed for at least an hour.
Dang,
Near
an
Marathon
hour!
and Far Marathon are each 900 feet long crawls. There is a small 5-foot area between the two where a caver can partially stand before starting the next section. As the men reach the last section of Far Marathon, there is a further narrowing and a tight squeeze to push yourself through. The goal was to reach this next section of the caving system to clear out passages for further mapping.
How can I breathe in there, though?
Around this time, Morag had come back to the entrance to see if the men were done yet, but she didn't see any signs that the cavers were coming out. The rain had started to fall, though nothing too alarming. Underground, they were preparing to clear passages, but noticed the streams had increased and groundwater levels rising just slightly.
Because the rain.
It would certainly have caught their attention, but may not have registered as a true threat to their mission.
Wait, is
At
that
some point,
29 hours,
the
what
water
they say?
levels became disturbing. The men would have heard the increasing volume of flow, as well as felt the rising water at their feet. Knowing they were 3 hours from the entrance, the decision was made to end their work for the day. Dave knew this cave system better than anyone, so they were sure he would know when to lead them out safely. Unfortunately, they had no idea just how much water was coming their way.
Oh my goodness, dude, this is like giving me
Morag had returned to
anxiety.
the cave entrance a final time at 9 o'clock. She was utterly horrified to see a lake of water collected around the entrance to the cave system. It was fully submerged and completely inaccessible.
What?
Her fear and desperation fueled a frantic 3-mile run to get help.
Oh, 3 miles? I'm not gonna lie. They just would have been dead. 3 miles? Non-stop? Like, what do I look like? Usain Bolt? I'm not no track star. I'm not gonna make it 3 miles. But that's besides the point. What I was finna say is, she made me forget. What I was finna say is, at this point, is it too late because the entrance is fully submerged in water, or can they still get out? Like, I don't know how the cave system works. Like, I feel like it's gonna take them more than 30 seconds, because that's how long I can hold my breath underwater, about 30 seconds. I feel like it's gonna take them more than 30 seconds to squeeze and shimmy through the entrance of that cave. I could be wrong, though.
Desperation fueled a frantic 3-mile run to get help. The men were moving back up the Far Marathon Passage. Though the water level had risen, they had no choice but to get back to a higher chamber as quickly as possible. This extreme distance in such a confining chamber was likely panic-inducing with such a heavy stream of water coming at them. All their experience told them to move calmly but efficiently to get through this
I
intimidating
would have been
reality.
panicking.
Sure,
Get
they
me
would
out of
emerge on the
here!
other side in a higher chamber. Young Michael and experienced Jeff were the first two to squeeze through the tight starting section of the return. A body could barely fit through portions of this passage. The cavers had to literally squeeze themselves past the rock and pull themselves forward with just their arm strength. Their rubber boots would be towing along the sides to help leverage forward as fast as possible. This time, the water would be coming right at their faces instead of following behind. Jeff Boireau was familiar with the ebb and flow of water in Mossdale. Surely he knew that a swift effort in Far Marathon would get he and Michael safely beyond the risky passage and into the larger chamber above. The other 4 men would have been gathering their gear and preparing for their own entrance into Far Marathon. Now the water flow was becoming more alarming. Dave Adamson was confident that he knew where to wait out the flash flood from the storm. These experienced cavers began their push, with all haste in mind. Jeff and Michael began struggling with the flood of water they were facing in the tight passage. It rose above their hands and then their shoulders. They tried to find the highest crack in the passage to lift their faces as the water rushed into the tunnel.
Oh my goodness.
Michael would have asked Jeff what to do, where to go. The amount of water flooding into the narrow passage was only increasing with no safe place to escape. The haunting truth was that there was nothing that they could do.
And that is the worst way to go out, knowing like you ain't got no chance. I'd rather go out anyway than drowning or burning to death. Those are the two worst ways that, hey, if I gotta go out, God, please don't let me go out that way. Drowning, like, it's too quick. Not too quick, it take too long. It take way too long. It take you like 30 seconds to drown. More than 30 seconds, what, 2 minutes? I don't know. And 2 minutes to burn to death? But like, this is pure anxiety fuel. I'm having trouble breathing watching this. I can't even imagine being in some secluded area trying to suck the last bit of air that's in the cave, bro. Like, what is he supposed to do? He can't crawl out. It takes hours to crawl out of this cave. He just supposed to sit here and drown? Like, it's not even one of them scenarios where you can go out swinging. He just gonna drown. Like, at least if it was Bigfoot running towards me trying to kill me, I could be like, all right, I'm back into a corner. I can't go nowhere. Bigfoot, put him up. You can't do that with water. You're just gonna drown.
Dave had led the others into this same cramped tunnel, hoping to beat the increasing water flow. As they moved through Far Marathon, they encountered the same devastating reality that their friends had just faced. The water was too high. They turned to elevate their faces above the rising water, seeking the smallest pockets of air, but clearly there was just no escape from this trap. John Ogden was likely the last in the tunnel and heard the desperate cries of his friends to turn back. Realizing that there was no way forward, he pushed with his hands to slide his body backwards, using his feet to lift his body weight. It was only a matter of moments to make a move before he would be fully submerged in water as well. He found a small crack overhead, where he wedged his head and body to gasp for the last moment of air. Maybe the water would stop rising and he would find protection in this small space of air. It was too tight for a person to actually fit, but in the frantic fight for survival, he jammed his body and face up into the narrow slit. Outside the cave, a full rescue effort was beginning. It was clear that the entrance to the cave was completely blocked by a lake of water.
It's over with.
But there was still hope that the men had found a safe chamber to wait in until the water levels fell. The rescuers came out in full force. Hundreds of volunteers helped dam off the entrance and install pumps to try to move the water out of the mouth of the cave. This would allow the water levels inside to fall, clearing passages for safe movement.
That's not gonna work.
On Sunday afternoon, a full day after the men entered the cave, rescuers were able to make it down to Far Marathon. They shouted a few times, hoping to alert the men that the passage was now clear and they could come down from their high waiting chamber.
Look at this, I don't like this.
It wasn't until 2 sets of legs were seen protruding from the ridge of the tunnel that the grim reality was revealed. These 2 bodies were Jeff and Michael, who had lifted their upper bodies into a ridge along the path
Did they die?
to try to access the last breaths of air. The reality of the situation was completely devastating to rescuers, who held to a slender thread of hope that these experienced cavers were able to find salvation in an air pocket. One by one, the bodies of 5 men were discovered. John Ogden's body would not be found for another 2 days. He had wedged himself so aggressively into the overhead crack, it took dozens of passes to locate his contorted remains. All 6 men drowned in an inescapable flash flood that filled the entire cavern with water. The cave was closed after this tragedy, and remains the final resting place for the 6 men.
Dude, Earth is just like, this type of stuff got you like scared to live, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm supposed to be getting on a plane in a couple days. I'm terrified now. Why did I watch this? I know this don't got nothing to do with planes, but it's just like, anything can happen. You know, they wasn't expecting it to rain or the cave to flood up like that. He been in this cave a million times. Then all of a sudden, by the snap of some finger, rain. We drown? Come on, bro, that's scary.
Bruh.
In 1970, friends of the cavers entered the closed system to move the bodies to an upper chamber. It was renamed the Sanctuary.
That's sad, bro. In memory of Dave Adamson, Colin Vickers, Bill Frakes, Geoff Boreal, John Ogden, and Michael Rain. Michael was 17, wasn't he? Dude, that is sad, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like, I can't imagine about to be killed, not killed, or about to drown, and there's nothing I can do about it. Like, I can't try to swim up to the top and I just drown on my way up. They had to, nothing. I can't even think of nothing they did. Like, he squeezed himself into a little air pocket that was still filling up. He didn't do nothing but delay the inevitable. Oh my goodness, dude. That was probably more scary than any other scary film I've seen. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause this stuff is real. Like, I don't know. I find that a little more scarier than like Michael Myers or something. You trapped in a cave and the water is floating up slowly past your breathing canals.
What?
I'm trying to use smart words because this was a smart documentary, but it's not working. But I'm just saying, like, come on. I don't know, man. So I was drowned in a narrow tunnel. I don't know what I was expecting. The title literally says drowned in a narrow tunnel. I don't know why I thought it wasn't gonna be like that, but you know, I don't know. So y'all let me know what y'all thought about this video down below in the comments. What do y'all think about cave exploring? Let me know something down below. And y'all know, dude, if you're not your video too much, just subscribe. You know what, 10,000 subscribers, and hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Could you just make sense to the like button if you like the video? No, I'm not going in no cave.